Hello everyone and welcome to Simply Made Homestead. Now today it is all about updates on what's going on around the homestead, and we have got several. We're going to talk about the quail eggs in the incubator, what's going on in the garden, and what we're doing back here with these chickens. But first, before we get too far into this, I want to show you our new addition to the homestead. Now, is this not the cutest little thing ever? Now, this little thing was found just running around, had been abandoned, and a couple of ladies, anyway, he found his way to us. And it was either him going to the pound, which is a kill pound, and so anyway, so we have dog number 3. Now you'll see behind me here we have the poultry netting, and initially we had the ducks and the chickens together with only 100 feet of poultry netting. We thought that was going to be enough. It wasn't, so we ordered another 100 feet, and we ended up separating them because I needed to worm the chickens, and I didn't need, when you worm the chickens, I used the Safeguard for goats. I use that. I use 3 milliliters per gallon of water for the chickens, and I give it to them for 2 to 3 days, and they are not offered any other form of water. Well, with the ducks, you have the pools, and the chickens are all the time drinking out of the pools that the ducks swim in. So we separated them, and I really kind of like it better that way anyway. The ducks need a little higher niacin in their food. This way I'm able to provide the ducks more of what they need nutritionally as well as the chickens. But when we first moved here and we first started out with our hoop houses, which is what we have used in the past for raising Cornish cross, I will link the hoop houses on how to build them at the end of this video for you. We didn't want a permanent hen house. The grass just gets killed and dead. We end up letting them out every day anyway. They're roaming the yard, and which is great, except they're all over the place. They're pooping on the sidewalks and the driveways and all out in the grass where all the kids are running and playing. So we kind of wanted to confine them but still give them fresh grass over and over again. So this way the hoop houses are really easy to move. We can move them from one spot to the other. They can fertilize the ground, and we can move them before they do too much damage, and it just works out great. Now here we need garden space, so let me show you what we've done. Now you'll see behind me here, or what I'm standing in, this is the first plot where the chickens and the ducks were here, and where the chickens are there. It was all this area here. And then the chickens had beat this down so much that it was time to move them. Now we put them here because we want to build a garden space here. And we figured, why not let the chickens do their thing? They can take part of our work away. They can fertilize the ground as we go. And we are pleased. We are very pleased. So we got to feed them. Why not make them work for us, right? So we put them down here. They have killed the grass. Now my husband has gone through here and he has tilled it. There's still some tilling to do. Our tiller died. Called around to get it fixed, and the starting price of just to do the diagnostics and labor and hourly, and it was $140. We only paid $400 for the tiller. So he's out renting one right now so we get this finished up and start planting. Now, so we moved them over here. We did separate the chickens and the ducks, as you see. All right, now having the ducks and the chickens separated, you could definitely see a huge difference in the amount of, you could say, damage, or the amount of tilling that the chickens do versus the ducks. The chickens do a lot of scratching and such, the ducks don't. But so we moved them. We just moved them over. We moved them back one. We put the ducks on fresh grass. We put the chickens on top of where the ducks were, so that way the chickens will scratch the duck manure all around and scratch up the grass and kill the grass and fertilize it all, and it has just worked out to be an absolutely awesome thing. Now you can see here the chickens are doing an absolutely beautiful job. There is lots of dead grass. It makes Andrew's work when he comes out here and starts tilling a whole lot easier. See how nice and green the grass still is? Yeah. They can create a muddy mess in a hurry if there's any water, but they don't do a lot of damage to the grass. Duck pen, chicken pen. Now, as you can see here in the garden, the potato plants have really started showing their faces, and I have healed them actually a couple of times. The last time I healed them, I did take 10, 10, 10, triple 10, and just sprinkled it all along the side. You don't need a lot, just a little sprinkle all along one side of the row, and then I healed it up on both sides to bring lots of dirt up there and put the sprinkler on it. Plus, we've had a little rain lately, so which is all the better. Now, you'll see here all of our little seedlings that are ready to go in the garden. They were ready before last week, and then we got a little cold snap. I had just started bringing them out for like an hour and then 2 hours, and then I see we've got a cold front coming through, so back indoors they went, and they have sat until about 3 days ago, and I started bringing them out again. I brought them out for a little bit. We've been having some overcast skies, which is absolutely perfect. You don't have that harsh light on them, but even overcast skies are is a much stronger light than grow lights or any kind of lights indoors. So I brought them out. I started, because it's overcast, I was able to leave them for a longer period of time. The first day I did that, I brought them out, and they were out here for probably a half a day. I took them back inside and I put a tray on this one shelf where I normally put it. I swear it grew an inch. So it is really good for them. It helps strengthen them. We've had a light breeze, helps to really make them strong and ready for the garden. As you can see, I have a lot of tomato plants. My fall crop did not turn out well. It became diseased. We moved. It was just a mess. It was a hot mess, and I really want some tomatoes. So we have lots of tomatoes, lots of variety of tomatoes, and I am going to be planting that today. Now we have lots of varieties of tomatoes here. They will be going in the ground. I'm going to start planting some today. And so if you would like to see how to plant a tomato plant, you see this tomato plant, and then you see this tomato plant. See the difference? There are different ways to plant tomato plants. So I am going to plant this one way and this one another. So if you want to learn what those ways are and how to do that for a nice, strong, healthy tomato plant, be sure and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, because the video will be out soon. Alright guys, it's time for an update on our quail eggs in the incubator, and I'll have to tell you, this has been the strangest hatch I've ever had. We have hatched lots of quail eggs and lots of chicken eggs in this incubator, and it has always worked out beautifully. But I'm kind of thinking I need to really check it out to see if it's the monitor here is reading correctly, to see if I need to replace it. Now, I always hear it's really good to have a backup incubator, and I completely agree, and I would highly recommend it myself. But you know, some of us, we can't just buy 2 incubators. I went on the cheap side, and this one was $130, and there are some even cheaper than that. So I felt like, you know, I was at least getting a little bit bigger, a little bit better incubator, and it's worked out really well for me for 2.5 years now. But I'm thinking we're having some problems. So anyway, typically I have these holes open right here. I don't know if maybe we've had the cool front come through. It's a different house. I don't know. But anyway, I tried to keep my humidity levels up. Is the reason I put these towels down here to cover those holes, to keep it in there and to help them stay at the level that this reader is telling me that they need to be. Now they do have readers that you can purchase, I forget what you call them, where it can read your temperature and your humidity, which is a really good thing to have, and I have one. I just don't know where it is. Still has not turned up from our move, but you can put it on the inside and be able to see what's going on in there. And I really should have gone and bought another one. That is my bad, and I really feel awful about it, to be honest, because the temperature and the humidity can very well affect your hatch rate. It absolutely affects your hatch rate. So we have one baby. Hatch day came, and it was late in the hatch day before the one popped out. And I mean, it just popped out. We check on it all the time. We saw no pips, no zips, no zippers. It was just there was a baby. We heard it hollering back here. So we were really excited. We thought, oh boy, now they're all going to start hatching, and we're fixing to have a bunch of babies. Well, that was 2 days ago, 2.5 days ago, and there has been nothing else. I've been trying to figure out, what am I going to do? You need, birds are flock animals. They need others. Just like when you purchase birds, they, a minimum of 3 or 4, because they need each other to thrive and to live a happy life. Now we have other quail, but they're big. They would kill this poor baby. So I looked in, trying to figure out ideas of what I could do to be able to raise this baby. And I looked into trying to find some bantam chicks, but I still really felt like that was still going to be way too big, and they would pick on it, because quail are just such tiny little things. So honestly, I had no idea what I was going to do other than try to raise this one baby by itself, and I don't know, put some something fuzzy in there that made it feel like it had other little quail in there with it or something to try to help it out. So yesterday, late last night, because it has been a couple of days, usually after 24 hours and your quail have dried really, really well. You just need that time. You don't want to take them out of this incubator wet, because they will get chilled and they will die. They are very fragile little things. So you have to wait 24 hours before you take them out of the incubator and put them into whatever type of brooder that you have. Now, I do have the kind of brooder that I use. We have a video out where I moved a batch of quail over into them before. I'm gonna link it for you here, so you can check that out. It is a puppy pen, and I'll put a link to the puppy pens in the description below for you. It is an excellent way to raise your quail, your chicks. I don't recommend it for little ducks because they're so messy. It works for a very brief period of time, but then you got to move to bigger and better things. But it really works out really, really well, which is what this batch of quail eggs, once they hatch, that's where they were going to go to. But the good news is, today I walked into this room, which is where my computer is, my camera is, and the incubator, kind of my little workspace, and I saw all this extra humidity that was built up on the top of the incubator. So I peeked in there, and we have another baby hanging halfway out of its shell. It came on out really quick. I was worried because it is later that it might have been, lots of times they're very weak, or they have something wrong with them where they just don't survive, or they're like just kind of afflicted. So, but this one looks really great. It's moving right around, and so now it has a buddy. Now that is the little one that was born late on hatch day, and that little lid we actually put in there for this one with a little water in it, because it had been a couple of days, and I usually don't leave my babies in there that long. I know they're fine. You ship hatched baby chicks, it's like 3-4 days, and they survive. They're fine. They have their water and their yolk that they've eaten in the shell to get them by. But anyway, he was kind of, she was kind of moving around and doing its thing, and just, I don't know, we felt like we wanted to give it a little something. Right over here, there is the new baby. And yes, it is alive. It's just resting. It's a lot of work breaking out of that shell. So we have a dark one and a light one. Look at that. We have never put a little cap or anything in there to give them water or food, but this one had been in there like 2 days, and I don't know, it just made me feel better to put a little, at least give it a little water until we can figure out what we're going to do with it. Looks like it needs some more water. Super cute. All right, so now that we have number 2 has hatched, we are going to continue to wait and see what is gonna happen. Now, some of you may yell at me for putting water in the incubator. I've never seen anybody else do it, but that's what I have done. And today I'm also going to, I've got some 30% wild game bird feed that I am going to grind up. It's a crumble, but I'm still going to put it in a little pepper grinder, clean it out really well from the pepper, of course, and put it in there and grind it up even smaller for these little babies because they are so tiny. In the beginning, for the first week, I do grind it. I'll just grind up a big jar and keep it in there and just add a little feed. But I'm going to put another little lid in there, and I am going to add a little feed for the one because it's going to be a little while before we can move that baby out. And this one over here, it's really, she has cleaned out the inside of her egg that she was hatched from. That's right, I'm saying she. And so we are going to put a little food in there just to make sure that, you know, that she's got what she needs and she's happy. And we're going to kind of wait out the other guys, and hopefully we're going to get some more hatches. If not, we'll keep the 2 and we'll try again. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here with me. And if you have any questions or comments, please be sure and put them in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you, and I will do everything I can to help you along the way. If this video was helpful to you, please give us a big old thumbs up. It really does help our channel, and share us with your friends and family and all across social media. Until next time, take care and God bless.